By the time my neighbor walked into the cafe and froze, I had already made the biggest mistake of my love life. But when I pushed open the door of Harborside Cafe that night, I did not know that yet. All I knew was that my stomach was tied in a knot and my hand was shaking on the door handle. The door felt heavier than it should. I stepped inside and the warm air hit me at once. The smell of fresh coffee and something sweet, maybe cinnamon rolls or apple pie, wrapped around me. Soft music played from speakers I could not see. People sat at tables with laptops open, typing like they were saving the world with emails. A couple near the window leaned close, laughing. To everyone else, it was just another calm Wednesday evening. To me, it felt like standing at the edge of a cliff. This was a mistake. A huge mistake. I should have stayed home, put on my oldest sweatpants, and watched cooking shows I would never try to copy. But Marcus had spent 3 weeks wearing me down. "You are 32, he kept texting. "You eat frozen pizza alone on Friday nights. Jennifer is perfect for you. Trust me." I did not trust him. But I had run out of excuses. So here I was, in my clean gray sweater, jeans with no holes, walking toward the corner booth like I was walking toward my own execution. Marcus told me which booth to sit in. Back corner, good lighting, easy to spot. I slid into the seat and tried to steady my breathing. I checked my phone. 6:28 p.m. She was supposed to get here at 6:30. 2 minutes felt like 2 hours. I grabbed a menu to give my hands a job. My eyes moved over the words. Sandwiches, salads, soup of the day. None of it really went into my brain. My mind was too busy listing every way this could go wrong. She could take one look at me and decide she was not interested. We could have nothing to talk about. I could say something dumb in the first 5 minutes. I could spill something on myself. I was very good at spilling things on myself. Last week, I dropped a whole jar of pasta sauce on my kitchen floor, and it took an hour to clean it up. I glanced down at my sweater again, double-checking for stains. Clean. That was something, at least. The bell over the front door rang. I looked up. A woman walked in and paused, scanning the room like she was searching for someone. She had dark hair pulled back in a loose braid, a burgundy jacket, and a warm, open smile. When her eyes landed on me, her face lit up a little in that way people do when they find who they are supposed to meet. My heart started beating so hard, I felt it in my throat. She walked toward my booth. "Daniel?" she asked. "Yeah," I said, standing up a little too fast. "Hi, you must be Jennifer." We shook hands. Her hand was warm and steady. Mine was not. My fingers still shook, so I tried to pull back quickly before she could feel it. She sat down across from me, still smiling. I reached for the salt shaker without thinking. My fingers hit it and knocked it right over. It rolled across the table and salt spilled everywhere in a little white line. Perfect. Great. Amazing start. Jennifer laughed. Not a fake, polite laugh. A real one. "Do not worry," she said. "I once spilled a full cup of coffee on myself during a job interview. Shirt, pants, everything. I still got the job somehow." Her easy tone made my chest loosen a little. "Marcus told me you work in software development," she said as she picked up her menu. "Yeah," I said. "It is not very exciting. I sit at a computer all day and fix code other people broke." "What about you?" I asked. "I am a graphic designer," she said. "I work for a small marketing company downtown. I like it most of the time, except when clients tell me to make their logo bigger for the 17th time." We both smiled. The conversation started to warm up. She asked me about my job in more detail, and I told her about a bug that took me 3 days to find because it was one wrong comma. She laughed in the right places. I asked her about her projects, and she talked about posters she was designing for a local theater. Her eyes lit up when she talked about colors and fonts and stage lights. "So what do you do outside of work?" she asked after a while. "Marcus said you are into cooking." I felt heat rush to my face. "I am terrible at cooking," I admitted. "I mostly eat takeout and sandwiches. When I try to make pasta, it is either burned or still crunchy." "Okay, so not cooking," she said, smiling. "What then?" "I read a lot," I said. "Mystery books, mostly. And I go for walks around the neighborhood. Pretty boring stuff." "That is not boring," she said. I think people do not walk enough anymore. Everyone is in a rush all the time." She set her menu down and looked at me more directly. "I volunteer at a senior center on weekends," she said. "There is a woman there named Dorothy. She is 93. She has the best stories about the city back in the day. But hardly anyone visits her now. Her family moved away, most of her friends are gone." She tucked a loose strand of hair behind her ear. "So I sit with her every Saturday for a few hours and we talk," she went on. "Last month she taught me how to play bridge. I still lose every time." The way she said it hit me hard. She could spend her weekends doing anything she wanted. Instead, she chose to sit with someone who did not want to be alone. "That is really kind," I said. "The world needs more people like that." Quote. She looked down at her cup, a little shy. "I just think everyone deserves to feel like they matter," she said. "Especially people who have lived long lives and have so much to share. They should not just sit alone in a room all day." For the first time since I walked in, I started to relax. Marcus might have been right. Jennifer was easy to talk to, kind, and she cared about things that actually mattered. Maybe this would not be a disaster. Maybe this could be the start of something good. The bell above the door rang again. I barely noticed it at first. People came and went from the cafe all the time. But then I heard a small, sharp breath, like someone gasped and cut it off in the middle. Something made me turn my head. I turned toward the entrance, and my whole body went cold. Standing in the doorway, not moving, not blinking, staring right at me, was Maya Rodriguez, my neighbor from Unit 5C. The woman who had lived in my building for 2.5 years. The woman I saw almost every day in the parking garage and by the mailboxes. The woman who had brought me soup when I had the flu last winter and left it at my door with a note that said, "Feel better soon." The woman I tried very hard to think of as just a neighbor and nothing more. Maya's dark hair was pulled back in a ponytail. She wore jeans and a navy sweater, simple and casual. She looked beautiful. She always looked beautiful. But right now she did not look calm. She looked shocked. Her eyes moved from my face to Jennifer sitting across from me, then back to me again. I watched confusion and something like hurt move across her face. She started walking toward our booth. Each step felt slow and heavy. My heart pounded so hard it hurt. My brain scrambled for some normal, casual thing to say, but nothing came. Maya stopped right next to our table. Jennifer looked up at her with a friendly smile, not knowing that the ground had just dropped out from under my feet. Maya did not smile back. She looked at me like she was searching for something she was not sure she wanted to find. "Daniel," she said softly, "you are on a date." Her words were simple, not a question, just a fact. But the way she said them made the air in the cafe feel thin and tight. I opened my mouth to answer, but my voice would not come. My mouth opened, but no sound came out. For a second, it felt like the whole cafe had gone quiet, even though the music was still playing and people were still talking. Yeah, I finally managed. "This is a date." Brilliant. That was the best my brain could do. Maya's eyes stayed on mine. Her arms crossed over her chest, but not in an angry way. More like she was trying to hold herself together. "I see," she said softly. The pause that followed felt huge. Jennifer shifted in her seat. I could feel her confusion from across the table. Jennifer said, trying to be polite. "Hi, I'm Jennifer. We're on a blind date. His friend Marcus set it up." Maya nodded once. "I know," she said. Jennifer blinked. "You do?" "I saw him come in," Maya said. She pointed toward a small table by the window. A half-finished cup of coffee and an open book sat there. I was sitting over there. My stomach dropped. She had been here first. She had watched me walk in. Watched me sit down. Watched Jennifer arrive. She had seen all of it. "Maya, I didn't know you came here," I said. My voice sounded weak. "I come here every Wednesday at 6:30, she answered. Her voice was softer now. "I have been doing that for almost 4 months. She took a breath. "I thought maybe you would notice one week," she said. "Maybe you would show up by accident. Or on purpose. I did not care which." Her words hit harder than anything I had heard in a long time. She had been sitting in this cafe every Wednesday hoping I would walk in, and the first time I finally showed up, it was to meet someone else. Jennifer's face turned pink from secondhand embarrassment. She looked between us, reading the tension in the air. "I think I should go," she said quietly. "You do not have to leave." I said fast, panic rising. "I am so sorry. It is okay," Jennifer said, cutting me off gently. She turned to Maya. "You did not do anything wrong. This is a lot. For all of us." Maya shook her head. "No, it is not fair to you," she told Jennifer. "I should not have interrupted. I could not stop myself." Then she looked back at me, and something in her eyes changed. Fear mixed with frustration and something deeper. "Why did you not ask me out instead?" she asked. The question hit like a punch to the chest. It hung there between us. Heavy. Real. Impossible to ignore. My brain shorted out again. I stared at her like I had never seen her before, even though I knew every detail of her face from 2.5 years of passing in the hall, sharing elevators, trading small smiles by the mailboxes. Maya, the woman whose car I tried to jump during that thunderstorm, who brought me homemade soup when I was sick and left it at my door with a little note, who always said good morning, who always seemed to light up the hallway just by being in it. Now she was standing here asking why I never asked her out. I tried again, but the words tangled in my mouth. Jennifer cleared her throat, trying to help. "Daniel," she said quietly, "maybe you should talk to her. It is okay." Quote, "You do not need to go," I told her again, even though I knew she was right. Even though I knew staying here with her while my heart and my neighbor stared at each other across the table was not fair. Jennifer gave me a sad little smile. "I think I do," she said. She picked up her jacket. "Marcus is going to owe me a fun story after this." She turned to Maya. "For what it is worth, I am glad you said something," she told her. "Most people never do." Then she walked out. The bell over the door rang as she left, and the sound felt too loud. Maya slid into the seat Jennifer had just left. The vinyl squeaked softly. She laced her fingers together on the table. They were shaking. "I should not have done that," she said. "That was unfair to her. And to you." "Then why did you?" I asked. The question came out before I could stop it, but I needed to know. She looked up, really looked at me. Her brown eyes were shiny, like she was holding back tears. "Because I have been waiting for you to notice me for 2.5 years, she said. "And tonight I watched you walk in here for someone else. It felt like my chest broke a little." I swallowed hard. My heart was pounding so fast it hurt. "Maya, I notice you," I said. "Every single day, that is the problem." "Then why did you never ask me out?" she asked. The same question, softer this time, but it cut just as deep. I took a breath and forced myself to be honest. "Because I was scared," I said. "We live in the same building. I see you in the parking garage, in the lobby, getting mail. If I asked you out and you said no, it would be awkward forever. If we went out and it went bad, we would have to avoid each other. There would be no escape. And I did not want to lose what I already had with you, even if it was just small talk." I stared down at the salt, still scattered on the table. "And also," I added quietly, "you are you." "What does that mean?" she asked. "You are the person who organized that fundraiser last year to fix the playground at the school down the street," I said. "You are the one who always remembers everyone's birthday in the building. You helped Mr. Patterson carry all his groceries up when the elevator broke. You know every pet's name. You bring soup when people are sick. You make everything better just by showing up." I shook my head. "And I am just Daniel from 5C, I said. "The guy who forgets to take out his trash until it smells. Who killed a cactus, which is supposed to be impossible. I write code in a quiet office and eat frozen pizza. Why would someone like you want to go out with someone like me?" Maya stared at me like I had just spoken a language she did not understand. Then, to my surprise, she gave a small, sad laugh. "You really do not see it, do you?" she said. "See what?" I asked. "You," she said simply. She leaned in a little. "You hold the door for everyone," she said. "Even when you are clearly late." Last month you waited almost 10 minutes so Mrs. Chun could reach the elevator with her walker. You carried Tommy's bike up 2 flights of stairs when the elevator was out. You left flowers outside my door on my birthday. Orchids. My favorite. I felt my face get hot. How did you know that was me? I asked. Because I pay attention, she said. I have been paying attention to you for 2.5 years. I know you leave for work at exactly 7:15 every morning. I know on Fridays you leave 10 minutes early so you can stop at the bakery and bring donuts to your office. I know you take the stairs on Sundays so the older lady can use the elevator. Her voice softened even more. You think you are boring, she said. But you are the kindest person I know. You make normal days feel better just by being in them. And I have been hoping every day that you would look at me the way I look at you. The words sat between us, warm and scary and real. My chest felt too full. All the excuses I had been hiding behind for years suddenly sounded thin and weak. I should check on Jennifer, I said finally. It came out rough. She did not deserve to have the night end like that. Maya nodded at once. You should, she said. She seems really nice. Her mouth twisted a little. Much nicer than I was tonight. You were honest, I said. That is not the same as mean. I slid out of the booth. For a second I stood there, looking down at her, at the woman who had just changed my entire view of the past 2.5 years with a few sentences. I am glad you said something, I told her, even if I looked like I was going to pass out. A tiny smile tugged at her lips. You did look a little pale, she said. Go talk to her. I will be here when you are done. I walked out of the cafe, the bell ringing above my head, my heart hammering. Outside, under the streetlights, Jennifer stood near the corner, phone in her hand. I took a deep breath and started toward her, knowing that whatever happened next, I could not keep pretending I did not know what I felt anymore. Jennifer looked up when she heard my footsteps. She was standing under a streetlight, her burgundy jacket glowing a soft red in the yellow light. Her phone was in her hand, but she slipped it into her pocket when I reached her. I am so sorry, I said right away. I did not mean for any of that to happen. I did not know she would be here. I did not know she felt that way. I swear I did not. Daniel, she said gently, cutting me off with one word. You do not need to apologize. But I ruined our date, I said. Marcus set this up, you took the time to come here, and then my neighbor showed up and just... Ask the question you were afraid to ask yourself, she finished for me. I blinked. What? She smiled a little, but it was a sad smile, not a happy one. You do not look at me the way you look at her, Jennifer said simply. My face got hot. What do you mean? I saw your face when she walked in, she said. Your whole expression changed. You looked like someone had pulled the floor out from under you. Scared, excited, confused, all at once. People do not look at each other like that unless something is already there. I opened my mouth, but I did not know what to say. I had not even realized my face changed. I thought I was hiding everything. Jennifer glanced back toward the cafe. She cares about you, she said. You care about her. Anyone with eyes can see it. I do not know what I am doing, I admitted. I do not want to hurt anyone. I did not mean to drag you into this. She shook her head. You did not drag me into anything, she said. I signed up for a blind date. That is always a gamble. Most of them end with 2 people saying that they will text and then never doing it. She gave a short little laugh. This one ends with your neighbor walking in and asking why you did not ask her out, she said. Honestly, that is the most interesting thing that has happened on any date I have been on in a long time. I still feel bad, I said. Good, she replied. That means you are not a jerk. Then her expression softened. Daniel, you seem like a really good person, she said. Marcus told me you teach kids computer basics at the community center. He told me you stopped on the freeway once to help a stranger with a flat tire. He said you are the kind of guy who shows up when people need him. I stared at the sidewalk. I was not used to people saying those things out loud. But being kind is not enough for this, she went on. You need that spark too, that pull towards someone that you cannot ignore. And I think we both know you already have that with her. I swallowed hard. You are sure, quote. I am sure, she said. And I know myself well enough to know I want to be with someone who looks at me the way you look at her. That is not a bad thing. That is just honest." She adjusted her jacket and took a small step back. "Go talk to her," she said. "Really talk to her. Do not hide behind fear again." "I do not know how to thank you," I said. "You just did," she answered. "And if it makes you feel better, I am going to text Marcus later and tell him he owes me something with extra cheese for putting me through all this." I laughed in spite of everything. "Take care of each other," Jennifer added, looking past me toward the cafe. "And do not waste another year being scared." She lifted a hand in a small wave and walked away toward the bus stop at the end of the block. I watched her go until she turned the corner and disappeared. For a moment I stood there under the streetlight, alone with my thoughts and my pounding heart. Then I turned back toward the cafe. Maya was just stepping out, holding her keys in one hand. She hesitated when she saw me, like she was ready to run or stay, depending on what I did next. "How is she?" Maya asked. "Kind," I said. "Much kinder than I deserve. She told me to talk to you." Maya looked down at her shoes. "I still feel awful," she said. "I had no right to come over like that. I snapped. "Watching you from across the room, seeing you laughing with her, I felt like something inside me cracked." "I am glad you snapped," I said. Her head jerked up. "You are glad?" "If you had not said anything, I would still be sitting over there pretending I do not feel what I feel," I said. "I would have gone home tonight wondering why seeing you in that doorway hurt so much. I would have kept pretending you were just my neighbor." Silence stretched between us for a moment. The wind picked up, cool against my face. A car drove by, headlights sweeping across the sidewalk. "So what now?" she asked finally. "I ruined your blind date. Marcus probably thinks you two are going to ride off into the sunset. And we still live in the same building. We are going to see each other in the elevator and at the mailboxes and maybe that will not be a bad thing anymore," I said. She bit her bottom lip. "I am scared," she admitted. "Me too," I said. "But I am tired of letting fear make all my choices." I took a breath and stepped a little closer. "Maya," I said, "would you like to take a walk with me? Right now. No labels, no pressure. Just a walk." She searched my face like she was looking for even the smallest sign I was unsure. Whatever she saw must have convinced her. "Yes," she said. "I would really like that." We started walking with no real plan, just moving down the sidewalk side by side. Streetlights cast long shadows. The air smelled faintly like the ocean, even though the water was a few blocks away. At first we were quiet, but it was not the uncomfortable silence we used to share in the elevator. It was full of possibility. Our hands brushed once, then again. The third time it happened, I stopped pretending it was an accident. I reached for her hand. She let our fingers slide together without hesitation and squeezed back. "Do you remember the thunderstorm?" she asked after a while. "The one with your car?" I said, "Yeah, very clearly. I was soaked for 2 days." She laughed softly. "I was supposed to meet my sister for dinner that night," she said. "She kept texting me, asking where I was. I told her some guy from my building was helping me, and that I felt bad for making him stand in the rain for so long. I was supposed to be at Marcus's birthday," I said. "He made fun of me for being late for months." "Why did you stay?" she asked. "You could have called a tow truck and gone on to the party. You did not have to wait with me." I shrugged. "You looked scared," I said, "and upset. I did not want you to stand there alone in the rain." It did not feel right to leave. She was quiet for a few steps. "That is when I realized I liked you," she said softly. "Not just as the nice guy from down the hall." As more, my chest tightened. "Why did you not say anything?" I asked. "Same reason you did not," she replied. "Fear." I kept thinking, what if I am wrong? What if he is just nice to everyone? What if I say something and he pulls away and suddenly home does not feel like home anymore? I let that sink in. Both of us had been walking around afraid of the same thing while wanting the same thing. "We really are idiots," I said. "Total idiots," she agreed. We reached a small park a few blocks from the cafe. A couple of benches sat near a patch of grass and a few trees wrapped in tiny lights. A food cart was packing up for the night near the curb. "Wait here," I said. I jogged over to the cart. "Wait here," managed to catch the guy before he closed completely, and bought 2 hot chocolates in foam cups. They were too hot to drink right away, steam rising from the small holes in the lids. Maya was sitting on a bench when I came back. Her face lit up when she saw the cups. "Hot chocolate from a street cart," she said. "This might be the most romantic thing I have done all year." Quote. "I was hoping you would say that and not call it weird," I said, handing her a cup. "It is weird," she said, "but in a good way." We sat there, shoulders almost touching, hands wrapped around the warm cups. Cars rolled by, their headlights flashing through the trees. Somewhere down the block, a dog barked. "I always thought romance was big gestures," I said. "Fancy dinners, trips, stuff like that." "And now?" she asked. "Now I think it might be this," I said. Sitting on a bench with hot chocolate after ruining a blind date, finally talking to the person I should have asked out a long time ago. She leaned her head lightly against my shoulder. My whole body relaxed, like it had been waiting for this exact moment without knowing it. "You know what else is weird?" she said. "What?" I asked. "Jennifer saw it," Maya said. She looked at us for maybe 30 seconds and understood something we ignored for years. "She told me I do not look at her the way I look at you," I said. "How do you look at me?" Maya asked. I thought about it, about the way my chest felt every time I heard her voice in the hallway, about the way the building seemed brighter when her door was open. "Like you are the thing I look forward to most in my day," I thought. But I was not ready to say that yet. Not all at once. Not here on a park bench with hot chocolate in my hands and my heart in my throat. "I will tell you," I said quietly. "Soon, when I can say it right." She smiled and nudged her shoulder against mine. "I will wait," she said. "For that, for you. I have been waiting this long already." We sat there as the night deepened, drinking hot chocolate that cooled too fast, talking in soft voices about little things and big things, about our jobs, our fears, our quiet, lonely evenings in apartments across the hall from each other. For the first time in a long time, I did not feel alone. And for the first time ever, sitting there with her hand in mine, I began to understand that maybe the question I had been afraid to answer was not really about fear at all. It was about finally being brave enough to choose what I really wanted. We finished our hot chocolate slower than it really took to drink it. I think we both knew that once the cups were empty, we would have to decide what came next. The night had settled around the park. Streetlights glowed. A car passed now and then. Somewhere down the block, a siren wailed and then faded away. "We should probably head back," I said, not moving. "Probably," Maya agreed. She did not move either. Finally, she stood and held out her hand. I took it. We walked back toward our building, side by side, our fingers still linked. It felt strange and right at the same time, like something I had been waiting to do without knowing it. The streets were quieter now. A light breeze moved the leaves in the trees. The world felt softer, like it knew this night needed space. When we reached our apartment building, everything looked the same as always. The glass doors, the row of mailboxes, the dull gray carpet in the lobby. But it all felt different, because now she was at my side instead of being a person I watched from a distance. We took the elevator to the 5th floor. For once, the silence between us was easy. No forced small talk about weather or broken washing machines. Just breathing and knowing we were both thinking the same thing. The doors opened and we stepped out into the hallway. Her door was a few steps to the left. Mine was a few steps to the right. We stopped in the middle, facing each other. "So," she said. "So," I echoed. "This is where we say goodnight, right?" she asked. There was a small smile on her face, shy and hopeful at the same time. "Probably," I said. "Or," she lifted an eyebrow, "or, you could invite me in," I said, my heart pounding. "For tea or something, if you want. No pressure." She laughed softly, nerves in the sound. "I make really good tea," she said. "And I promise I will not sing." "I was kind of hoping you would," I said. That made her blush a little. It made me feel brave. "Come on," she said, unlocking her door. Before I chicken out, quote, her apartment was the same layout as mine, but it felt like another world. Warm light, plants in corners and on shelves, a soft rug, photos on the walls. Friends smiling, kids at a beach. A picture of her standing by a huge tree somewhere in the mountains. "Wow," I said. "This place looks like a real person lives here." She laughed. "What does your place look like?" "Like a robot with no feelings picked out all my furniture," I said. "I have one couch, one table, and 3 things on my walls. A calendar, a clock, and a very old band poster." "I know," she said, grinning. "You always leave your blinds open." "I can see inside when I walk past sometimes." I groaned. "That is embarrassing." "It is kind of sweet," she said. "Sad but sweet." She went into the small kitchen and filled a kettle. I wandered toward her table. There was a book lying face down, open to about the middle. I picked it up and smiled when I saw the cover. "You are reading this?" I asked. She turned around. "You know it?" Quote, "I am on chapter 12, I said. "Chapter 13, she said, tapping the cover. "I am winning." "I did not know it was a race," I said. "It is now," she replied. The kettle whistled and she made tea in 2 mismatched mugs. Mine had a cartoon cat on it. She handed it to me and we moved to the couch. We sat close but not touching, the steam from our cups curling into the air between us. We talked about the book for a while. Who we thought the guilty person was. What clues we thought mattered. It felt easy, like we had done this 1,000 times, even though it was the first time. The clock on her wall ticked on. Time felt strange, stretched, and soft. At some point, our knees touched, and neither of us moved away. "You know," she said after a quiet moment, "I used to imagine this." "Tea on your couch with the guy from 5C, I asked. She smiled. "Not exactly like this. No blind date. No public scene in a cafe. But you sitting right here, talking to me like this." It felt like something that was never going to happen, but I could not stop hoping it would. I stared down into my tea. "I used to imagine it too," I said. "Not the details, but you," laughing at something I said, looking at me like I mattered. She turned her head. "You do matter," she said softly. "You always have." I set my mug down on the coffee table and turned too so I could see her better. "Earlier," she said, "Jennifer told you that you do not look at her the way you look at me." "Yeah," I said. "She did." "How do you look at me, Daniel?" Maya asked. There was no teasing in her voice now, just a quiet need, a question she had waited too long to ask. I could have made a joke. I could have dodged it again. But that was the old me, the one who let fear decide everything. So I answered. "I look at you like you are the best part of my day," I said. "Like hearing your keys in the lock in the hallway means I will not feel so alone for a minute. Like seeing you carry groceries makes me want to run out and help, even if I am in the middle of something. I look at you like I am scared to stare, but I cannot help doing it anyway." Her eyes filled with tears, but she was smiling. "That is how I look at you," she whispered, "every single time I hear your door open." My heart was pounding. The words felt huge and simple at the same time. "I was afraid you would not feel the same," I said. "I was afraid you would not either," she said. So I kept waiting. And then tonight, when I saw you in that booth, I realized I could not wait anymore. I reached up and brushed a tear from her cheek with my thumb. Her skin was warm and soft. "Jennifer told us not to waste any more time being scared," I said. "She is smart," Maya replied. I leaned in slowly, giving her time to pull back if she wanted. She did not move away. She closed the tiny space between us. The kiss was gentle. Careful. Her hand slid up to my shoulder. Mine found the side of her face. It felt new and familiar at the same time, like something we had both been carrying in our pockets for years and finally decided to open. When we pulled back, we both started laughing quietly for no real reason at all. "I have imagined that a lot," she said, "but this is better." "Same," I said. In my head, I was smoother, though. Quote, "You were plenty smooth," she said, bumping her forehead lightly against mine. I looked at the clock. "I should probably go," I said. "We both have work tomorrow." "Yeah," she said, even though I could tell she did not want the night to end either. We walked to her door together. The hallway seemed brighter than usual. "Lunch tomorrow?" I asked. "There is that diner 2 blocks away. I can meet you at 1. She smiled. "Our second date," she said, "and we have not even finished our first one." "Then we will not finish it," I said. "We will just pause it until tomorrow." "I like that," she said. I stepped out into the hallway and walked toward my door. Halfway there, I turned around. She was still standing in her doorway, watching me. "I am really glad you came to the cafe tonight," I said. "Best bad decision I ever made," she said. "Or maybe the best good one." I went inside my apartment and leaned against my own door, grinning like an idiot in the dark. My place felt different now, even though nothing had changed. It felt less empty. My phone buzzed in my pocket. A text from Maya, already counting down to tomorrow. I typed back, "Same." A second later, another message. "Also, you left your jacket at my place. You will have to come back for it." I looked down at myself and laughed. I was not wearing a jacket. I texted back. I was not wearing a jacket. Her reply came fast. "I know. Now you have an excuse." I laughed out loud. The sound bounced off my bare walls, but for once, it did not feel lonely. The blind date I had dreaded had led me right where I was supposed to be. Not with the woman sitting across from me in the cafe, though I was grateful for her kindness, but with the woman who had been across the hall the whole time. Maya, who saw me when I thought I was forgettable. Maya, who waited at a cafe every Wednesday hoping I would walk in. Maya, who finally asked me the one question I had been too afraid to answer. Why did you not ask me out instead? Now, with my phone glowing in my hand and her name on my screen, I knew the real answer. I had been scared, but I was done being scared. For the first time in a long time, the future did not feel like an empty hallway. It felt like walking side by side with her, down the same path, toward whatever came next.